It's the Resilient Me with Centered Sunday. Let's bring it in and get ready for the week. So, this month we have our 30-day challenge, level up challenge for the month of June, which was entitled Achieve Your Goals, Unlock Your Mind. And with this challenge, I also begged you guys, I've said it so many times, please, please, y'all, get the book Wake Up and Live by Dorothea Brand. When I tell you this book has challenged my thinking, revealed and exposed limits that I've even used in the past or have even like up until this week tried to engage in. I mean, it's made me so much more aware of the things that I do and why I do it. So please, you guys, you got to get into this book, get into the challenge. Listen, the book is only 98 pages. Okay, it's June 16th, but that doesn't mean anything. You can still get in on a challenge with us. 98 pages, you could read that in a day. All right? Get the book, digest it, read it, take notes, read it again. I'm telling you, it is definitely going to be worth it. I think this is probably going to, I don't know. I mean, new things can come because I don't know everything. But this year so far, this has been my favorite and most challenging challenge thus far. So today, I want to take a little bit of an excerpt out of the book itself where she talks about, I think it's chapter 4, where she talks about the rewards of failure. And like, rewards of failure, nobody feels like they're getting any sort of reward from failing because you're failing and you feel horrible. But the way she described it and went to great detail, I mean, wow, it just made me realize that even I've benefited from the rewards of failure. So I wanted to pull out from the book. I mean, she doesn't go in the direction that I'm going in today. She kind of goes into like a broad discussion of it, but I actually want to pull out some specific mechanisms that we use when it comes to failure. So today we're going to talk about distractions, distress, and indecision as failure mechanisms that we actually do employ. So we can employ them for various reasons, but I'm really not going to get into all the details of all that. I just want to kind of touch some of the definitions of it, what we do when we're using it or what we're trying to avoid, and then the things that we need to focus on. So dive in with me. Let's get centered. All right. So when we talk about distractions, I know we're all used to like the discussion nowadays, like everybody's distracted on their phone, or you're distracted while you're driving, or you're distracted at work, right? I want to focus you in a different aspect because we get more than just distracted on our phone. We could have a whole life distraction. Like we can get into relationships that distract us, right? We can take a whole career change as a distraction. I mean, there's so many other ways outside of our phones that we can engage in distraction. So I'm going to tell you what distraction really is. Distraction is a confusion on what actually matters. I'm going to say that again in case you want to take notes. Distraction is actually confusion on what really matters. Just if we take it back to the very simple concept of driving and using your phone at the same time. Now that text message, you may be confused with that being important, right? Versus you driving a whatever $25,000, $30,000 vehicle at 60 miles per hour with other people driving around you at 60 miles per hour, some with kids, some, with elderly, or they may be with child with themselves. I mean, there's all kinds of other things that are more important than that text message. But because you're confused on this text message asking you if you want to go have dinner tomorrow night, you choose to respond to the message rather than stay focused on the driving. Same thing happens with other distractions in our life. Whether it is going to school forever. Oh, guys, don't kill me. I know people think that's okay, but it's not, and it's for different reasons, right? Now, it's different if you're going to school to become an attorney or a doctor, anything that requires you to go to school for a very long time. Of course, I'm not talking about you, but to the forever student who goes back to get 6 different degrees. You know what I'm talking about. It's a distraction. Or we engage in relationships that we have absolutely no intention of pursuing or going any further than where we're at right now. But because we're using it as some kind of floating mechanism until, that's a nice way to put it, right? Until you get to your destination when you might be ready for a relationship or you might be ready to wholly give yourself. But right now you just want to have fun. Those are also distractions, and distractions can cost you, right? And the really good distractions, you don't know they're distractions until they're done distracting you, okay? So the overall concept of a distraction is that we are wired, heart, mind, all of it, even our bodies, to look for short-term pleasure rather than focusing on the greater priority, which supersedes the short term and takes us into the long term. Okay? So you got to understand when it comes to distractions and you're looking at your priorities, number one, they're probably out of whack because you're focused on what's the short term gain, what's the short term reward in that. And last week we talked about procrastination, and I highlighted the fact that procrastination is actually not a time management issue, but it's an emotional issue. Distraction and procrastination pretty much go hand in hand with each other. So when you're being distracted or you're choosing to engage in distraction, there's some sort of emotional connection to that. So if you decided to be distracted, like I said, into a relationship that you believe is not going to really lead you into anything, right? Or you take a job. This is a big one. I've seen people do this as well. You take a job that you have absolutely no interest in being in, right? But you're distracting yourself from pursuing what it is that you know you should be going for. It could be because you don't think you're good enough. It could be because you don't want to be challenged. You could have multiple reasons for why you engage in, like, of course, if you get into a relationship that's not going to take you anywhere, it's not going to challenge you, it's not going to stretch you, it's not going to provoke you or cause you to grow. So when you are in a distracted state, one thing you need to be aware of is what is the emotional response that I'm trying to avoid. That is the whole idea of procrastination. I think if I do X, it's going to cause me to feel this way, and I don't want to feel this way, so I go for the short term, right, instead of the long term. So take a moment to process that and look at what ways have you engaged in distraction in your life even right now. Sometimes it could be very simple as something as using sleep, right? Or television, or whatever it is that you're using to fill your time when you know you should be working on your business, or you should be writing your book, or you should be designing your website, or whatever it is that you choose to engage in that's actually prohibiting you from moving forward and being successful. It's a distraction. Figure out why. What is the emotional connection or engagement I have with that? The next thing is distress. Now, I have used distress, and indecision. All of those, there's more mechanisms, failure mechanisms than the three that I'm mentioning, but I'm just using the top three that I know I've fallen victim to, because that sounds a lot easier to process, right? Speaking of distress, a lot of times when we fall into distress mode, it could be triggered by a real traumatic event. It could have been you were molested, you were raped, a significant other died, or your family member died, whatever it is. Those are all genuine reasons to fall into distress. But when we choose to stay there and we block our hearts from healing, we don't do the therapy, we don't put in the emotional work to climb ourselves out of the holes that we have fallen into by suffering this major loss. It could even be something as great as losing your house. When you're in a state of distress, a lot of times we choose to recoil, we choose to disengage, and we move almost into a childlike state where we want other people and other things to be taken care of for us, because now I feel like I deserve to take a break. And I could be wanting to take a break from my relationship. I could be wanting to take a break from work. I could want to take a break from life as whole. I don't want to be responsible anymore. I don't want to be an adult anymore. I don't want to do any of these things because, look, I lost my job. I, have 2 degrees. I did everything the way it was supposed to go. And now I'm laid off, right? You're in distress. And the nice thing to do would be like, I'm the victim. I don't deserve this. I tried so hard. Why is it not working out for me? Okay? And the reason why it's easier for us to fall into that trap is because we feel like somebody owes us something. Or we feel like I deserve something. I deserve now to be able to not be responsible. I'm entitled to a moment, okay? All of those things, and I'm even speaking to myself because I'm thinking of oh gosh, times where I did engage in this behavior. But at the time, like, it was actually logical to me that I was engaging in that behavior because I was in distress. I didn't hear it as being selfish or childish or irresponsible or feeling entitled, really, or just actually playing the victim. I mean, it can take on several different versions, but we can use all those mechanisms as a way to stop our progress. And you're like, Sharice, what are you talking about? What do you mean? I don't want to stop my progress. I want to be successful. Listen, to know and not do is still not to know. And I think because we misinterpret the fact that I know what I should be doing and I tried and it didn't work out as if, oh, well, then I should get credit for actually doing it. Did you exhaust all your resources? Did you exhaust every single possibility? Did you try again just because you failed one time? Or did you tap out? I tried 2 times, I tapped out, right? If even when it comes to like losing your job, did you even reach out to somebody else, maybe a family member, maybe a friend that could probably help you find a job? Did you reach out to maybe get your resume reviewed? Did you actually do the revisions? This is a big one for me. I've had people come and ask me, excuse me, hey, can you look at my resume? And I'll give them the revisions and then it never gets done. And then people cry like, oh, I don't have a job. I can't find a job. And then I'm just looking like, I gave you very good revisions and you never took them to heart. So you want me to hear you sob and cry about it. That's the thing. We feel like I should be able to employ these mechanisms to justify my current state. It's time to let all of those things go, wake up, come out of the fog, and make a decision to live. All right, and lastly, we're going to get on indecision. Okay, indecision is still a choice. You are still choosing to take no action, and I've done that as well. And sometimes I've used indecision to kind of justify the fact that I didn't want to hurt this person's feelings, or I didn't want to make this person feel bad, or I wasn't really sure if I would be successful over here or be successful over there. So I just decided, well, since I can't make up my mind, I'm just not going to do anything. I'm going to research. I'm going to get more information. I'm going to ask more questions. I'm going to engage more. I'm going to seek more help. And you go and you ask the same people the same questions over and over and over again, looking for a different answer. And you keep getting the answer that says you have to stand up. You've got to take the risk. You've got to go for it. And you've got to engage. You have to. You have to. Because if you don't, you will look back 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and be like, man, I'm pretty much in the same place that I was when I started thinking about this 10, 15, 20 years ago. So, with distractions, this is the one thing that we're trying to do. This is the reward of failure, right? We are avoiding pain and being challenged. With distress, we're allowed to move back into a childlike state. We get to recoil, disengage, and be entitled. And with indecision, we are being protected from fear. Fear of failure, fear of being rejected, fear of it just not working out. So take some time this week. Look at how you may have employed these 3 mechanisms: distraction, distress, and indecision, to find a reward in delaying your success, i.e., succumbing to failure. I know it's a tough one, guys. This week was really, really hard for me. Just overall, reading the book, I felt like it was like, gut punch, gut punch, gut punch, gut punch, right? Uppercut, right? Jab, jab. Okay, so I'm only sharing my experience. That's the point of us doing this challenge. So I hope you guys can eat this, digest it. I want to get some feedback from you. Also, I just started my YouTube channel, so if you're watching me for the first time, thanks for joining me. Subscribe so you can be notified, and come join us in Facebook Land. or you can be a part of our private Facebook group where we can talk and chat and take the conversation a little bit further. I want to engage with you. Also, you can find me on Instagram at theresilient.me. All right, Instagram is probably my favorite place to hang out. So catch me on there too. All the links are there. And I will see you guys next Sunday. Oh, if you are not on my email list, you missed the 14-day prompt that I sent out this morning. Okay? I'm trying to add supplement upon supplement upon supplement. You got the supplement, you got the original challenge ebook that I created, you got the additional book by Dorothea Brand. Then I created a 14-day prompt for you guys to use every single day, which kind of was generated out of some of the questions I've been asking myself the past 16 days. So I want to hear from you. Give me some feedback. Let me know how you're doing. I'll see you guys next Sunday. Oh, wait. No, tomorrow we got Meditation Monday on Instagram. Okay? Join me for Meditation Monday. It's only 2 minutes on Instagram live. All right. I love you guys. Have an awesome week.